They weren't just names in textbooks. They were forces of nature who reshaped the world with ideas, inventions, and revolutions that still echo today. From Ada Lovelace's pioneering strides in computing to Nelson Mandela's unwavering fight for justice, these historical and cultural figures didn't follow trends, they created them. Leonardo da Vinci fused art and science centuries before the term STEM became a buzzword, while Rachel Carson's environmental awakening continues to guide global movements. Isaac Newton unlocked the secrets of motion, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream continues to fuel civil rights struggles. Even Cleopatra, once dismissed as a seductress, is now recognized for her political genius and strategic diplomacy. These icons, whether scientists, artists, philosophers, or activists, left behind legacies that challenge, inspire, and provoke. In Past Paradise, we spotlight the minds and hearts that dared to think differently, act boldly, and change everything. This isn't just history, it's the blueprint of transformation. What Martin Luther King Jr. left behind in the world's civil rights movements. As late as 2025, Martin Luther King Jr.'s impact on civil rights groups worldwide is still felt far beyond the United States. His ideas about peaceful opposition, influenced by Mahatma Gandhi, remain important in modern action, from anti-racism campaigns led by young people in Europe to strikes for indigenous rights in Australia. Each year, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is observed on the third Monday of January. It has become a worldwide symbol of justice and unity, with celebrations in places such as Japan, Canada, Israel, and the Netherlands. In the United States, the day is marked by AmeriCorps-led community service projects that honor King's belief in the importance of working together and being a good citizen. Schools worldwide now incorporate King's works and talks into their lessons on ethics, leadership, and social justice. The speech he gave at the March on Washington in 1963, "I Have a Dream," is still one of the most famous in history. Its themes of hope and equality are still felt in current movements such as Black Lives Matter and climate justice campaigns. In 2025, King's message will be disseminated through virtual museums and AI-powered storytelling tools, ensuring his legacy lives on for new generations. His legacy lives on in the memory of the past and the pursuit of a fairer world, demonstrating that his dream remains very much alive. The effects of Frederick Douglass's legacy on the world in 2025. In 2025, Frederick Douglass's influence is still felt around the world, inspiring organizations dedicated to justice and freedom. Douglass's works and talks are now taught in schools in more than 30 countries. In February, UNESCO held a conference to honor his 207th birthday and named him a global icon of human rights. A new AI-powered exhibit at the Frederick Douglass National Historic Site in Washington, D.C., reconstructs his talks using voice synthesis and interactive images. This allows guests to experience his speeches as they were delivered in the 1800s. In honor of Douglass's influence on Irish abolitionist groups, the city of Cork, Ireland, unveiled a copper figure of him in the 1840s. Aside from that, the U.S., as a tribute to Douglass's work on the Underground Railroad, the Mint released a special quarter featuring his image and a picture of his home in Rochester. Researchers have revisited his ideas about the Constitution. New books show how he changed his mind from seeing the Constitution as a text that supported slavery to seeing it as a tool for freedom. In light of global movements for gender equality, Douglass's work for women's rights is being reassessed, making him an essential figure in inclusive action. His quotes become popular on social media on civil rights holidays, and his picture is used in ads to encourage reading and political participation. His fight for freedom and respect remains a global call to action, as evidenced by the enduring importance of Douglass's work today. What Rosa Parks' defiance meant around the world in 2025. Even though it's been 70 years since her famous stand in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks' memory still inspires movements for justice around the world. Her peaceful protest on December 1, 1955, remains a pivotal moment in the history of civil rights, but recent events honoring her have made her famous far beyond the United States. There are now educational displays and public art pieces in Berlin, Naples, and Tokyo that celebrate Parks' bravery. One of these is the rebuilt home she used to live in Detroit, which was moved to Europe as a sign of resistance. Every year, on Rosa Parks Day, which is celebrated in various states between February 4th and December 1st, buses in Racine, Wisconsin still reserve a place for her. The story of Rosa Parks is now taught in schools worldwide, highlighting her significance as more than just a civil rights hero. She is also seen as an international sign of moral clarity and civic courage. People are interested in her book from 1992 and her novel Quiet Strength from 1995. This is especially true among young activists who see her as an essential figure in the history of peaceful protest. The Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development continues to support young leaders by utilizing virtual platforms and AI-powered learning tools to reach a broader audience. Rosa Parks is known today, but she is also used as an example in movements for housing justice, gender equality, and anti-authoritarian resistance. This demonstrates that a single act of rebellion can have a lasting impact on people across different generations and countries. A worldwide movement for fairness and action on Mandela Day 2025. As of 2025, Nelson Mandela's legacy continues to inspire people worldwide to work towards justice, and Mandela Day has evolved into an active event that promotes public participation and equal treatment for all. Today, July 18th, is Mandela Day, and millions of people from all over the world do 67 minutes of service to honor his 67 years of public action. This year's theme, "It's Still in Our Hands to Fight Poverty and Inequality," has led to numerous community projects, from education drives led by young people in Nairobi to classes on climate preparedness in Jakarta. The Nelson Mandela Foundation created a new dynamic website to connect workers worldwide. The website showcases projects such as food delivery in Cape Town and literacy efforts in Mumbai. Over 10,000 people joined the Mandela Day Walk and Run in Johannesburg. Virtual runners from 40 countries also participated, demonstrating that the event is gaining popularity. The United Nations confirmed Mandela's global significance by aligning its messages for the 80th anniversary with his ideals of respect and peace. In India and Brazil, schools added new lessons about Mandela's leadership, focusing on how he helped shape democracy ideals after colonialism. In the meantime, digital tributes to Mandela were all over social media. #Mandela Day became a worldwide trend, and AI-made recordings of his talks inspired young people. Even though injustice still exists, Mandela's message that ordinary people can effect significant change remains a rallying cry. In 2025, his vision is not only remembered, but also lived out through collective efforts and unwavering hope. Susan B. Anthony's 205th birthday brings attention back to the issue of economic empowerment. Susan B. Anthony fought for women's right to vote, but her work on financial freedom gets less attention than her work on suffrage. In 2025, her legacy is being reevaluated through this lens. Anthony's birthday party this year was held on February 12th at the Joseph A. Floriano Riverside Convention Center in Rochester, New York. The theme of the party was "A Purse of Her Own," which reflected her view that women should have control over their finances and property to be truly free. Laurie Van Dusen, a well-known investment planner, was the event's main speaker. She made a connection between Anthony's work in the 1800s and current problems, such as the disparity in wealth between men and women, and people's inability to manage their finances effectively. People say that Anthony's note in her diary in 1853, "Woman must have a purse of her own," was one of the first calls for economic justice. Additionally, the Susan B. Anthony Museum and House has announced plans to expand its educational programs, enabling them to reach more students and make more of Susan B. Anthony's works accessible to people worldwide. Her name resurfaced in political debates about reproductive rights and equal pay laws, with both sides citing her impact. People still visit her grave in Mount Hope Cemetery and leave "I voted" stickers as a sign of honor, especially around election times. Anthony's idea is no longer just a part of history books. It's changing the way people discuss women's rights, showing that her fight for equality extends far beyond the voting booth. Military honors Harriet Tubman and her effects on culture in 2025. Harriet Tubman's reputation hit a new high point in 2025 when the Maryland National Guard made her a one-star brigadier general after she had died. This was done to honor her spying and leadership during the Civil War. This historic honor, which was revealed on Veterans Day 2024, is the first time that a military title like this has been given to an African American woman after her death. It emphasizes Tubman's role as both a leader of the Underground Railroad and a strategic military asset. As part of its new exhibits, the Harriet Tubman home in Auburn, New York, now has live hologram reenactments of her Combahee River raid, in which she freed over 700 slaves. Tubman's old church in St. Catharines, Canada, has been named a National Historic Site. This demonstrates her significant influence in revolutionary networks worldwide. According to the U.S. Treasury, Tubman will be on the new $20 bill starting in 2026. The final design will be shown off during Black History Month in 2025. There are now AI-powered modules on educational platforms that allow students to practice Tubman's escape routes. These modules combine history with interactive learning. The 2025 program on intersectional action will focus on her story to show how she fought for both race and gender justice. #Harriet Tubman becomes increasingly popular on social media every year during events commemorating her life, and her picture is used in ads to encourage people to be more civically responsible. Tubman remains important because she left behind a legacy of various accomplishments. She was a freedom fighter, a planner, and a humanitarian. Her story continues to inspire groups around the world for fairness and strength. Galileo Galilei's importance in 2025 for space education and scientific honesty. In the year 2025, Galileo Galilei's legacy is being rethought through the lens of space education and the worldwide movement for honest science. On his 461st birthday, February 15th, International Telescopes and Educational Platforms released engaging modules that utilize augmented reality and AI-powered models to demonstrate how he discovered phenomena such as Jupiter's moons and Venus's phases. The European Space Agency's Galileo Reimagined program now utilizes his ideas to train astronauts, placing a strong emphasis on careful observation and the use of facts. In the meantime, the Vatican Observatory has expanded and added a new exhibit called From Heresy to Heritage, which honors Galileo's work and illustrates how the Church and science have evolved since his trial in 1633. In 80 countries, his laws about falling objects and pendulum motion are now taught as a fundamental part of physics classes. In his honor, UNESCO has named 2025 the International Year of Scientific Methodology. People also talk about false information a lot because of Galileo. Science writers use his refusal to allow faith as an example of how to think based on proof. Over 40 million people worldwide can now read his writings thanks to the Museo Galileo in Florence having scanned them. Galileo's insistence on mathematical accuracy and precise observations is still at the heart of satellite navigation systems such as the UE's Galileo GNSS. In 2025, Galileo is more than just a historical figure. He's a symbol of intellectual courage and the enduring power of scientific truth. Newton's impact on modern science and the comeback of classical mechanics in 2025. In the year 2025, Isaac Newton's work remains essential to science. New developments in quantum modeling and space travel have sparked a renewed interest in classical mechanics. The European Space Agency's latest effort to model gravitational anomalies on Mars utilized Newton's law of universal gravitation as the starting point. This demonstrates that it remains useful in the study of physics beyond Earth. In the meantime, Cambridge University started the Newton Initiative for Scientific Heritage. This project scanned over 50 million words from Newton's papers, making them available through AI-powered files. These words encompass some of Newton's lesser-known works on alchemy and religion. The Royal Society held a global conference to celebrate the 340th anniversary of the Principia Mathematica. At the symposium, scientists and historians discussed how Newton's ideas have influenced modern theories of motion and relativity. In schools, interactive hologram modules are transforming the way Newton's laws are taught by allowing students to model the movements of planets and the dynamics of fluids in real time. His contributions to optics are also being used to make next-generation cameras. For example, NASA's Newtonian Array prototype utilizes curved mirrors to eliminate chromatic distortion in viewing deep space. Students are also learning about Newton's intellectual thoughts on nature and God in classes that combine science and ethics. His picture, which can be found on special coins and digital learning tools, stands for the never-ending quest for knowledge. In the year 2025, Newton is not just a historical person, he is also a living framework that science uses to grow, change, and inspire. Ada Lovelace's imaginative influence on AI and creative computing in the year 2025. In 2025, Ada Lovelace's legacy has changed from being admired for its historical value to having a real impact on artificial intelligence and creative computing. Her 1843 discovery that machines could change symbols other than numbers is now a cornerstone of modern generative AI. Her name is now associated with the Lovelace Protocol, a global set of guidelines for the responsible use of AI in creative fields. Every year, on the second Tuesday of October, Ada Lovelace Day is celebrated. This year, over 70 countries took part in international hackathons that focused on inclusive tech design. Ada, the computer language used by the U.S. Department of Defense, has been changed to handle quantum computing. This makes her even more critical in cutting-edge research. Because Ada Lovelace believed machines could create art, Oxford University's Ada Lovelace Center for Computational Creativity initiated a new project to explore music and poetry generated by AI. As of now, her translated notes on Charles Babbage's analytical engine are part of UNESCO's World Digital Heritage Archive and can be accessed through engaging VR experiences. In popular culture, Lovelace was represented in a film that opened at the Cannes Film Festival in 2025. The movie portrayed her as intellectually defiant and revealed the complexity of her emotions. Educational sites all over the world use her story to teach algorithmic thought and coming up with new ideas from different fields. AI is changing society, and Lovelace saw that machines could be creative. This makes her not only the first coder, but also an intellectual builder of the digital age. Her vision remains a guiding force for technology that is both moral and creative. Hawking was right about AI, space travel, and the rise of robots in 2025. In 2025, Stephen Hawking's remarkable statements from the mid-1990s have come true, transforming the way people around the world discuss technology, space, and AI. Hawking predicted that private companies would take over space travel. Today, SpaceX and Blue Origin run orbital flights, asteroid mining projects, and even short-term space tourism. His warning about space junk has become a very real problem, with more than 100 million pieces of debris floating around the Earth. This has led countries around the world to collaborate on clearing space junk using satellites and nets in orbit. Hawking emphasized artificial intelligence as a force that could change things. This is now clear in fields such as healthcare and education, where AI systems assist with diagnosis, personalized learning, and the creation of creative content. In 2025, robotic surgery systems, intelligent assistants, and automated service bots are widespread in homes, hospitals, and businesses, just as he had predicted. As arguments over moral frameworks and computer responsibility intensify, his warning about unchecked AI growth has become increasingly important. Hawking used the internet as an analogy for a digital ocean full of bugs that resemble and behave like real-life phenomenon. His prediction has come true, as cybersecurity threats become increasingly complex. Some of his more outlandish ideas, such as banking chips that are implanted under the skin, haven't yet come to fruition. Still, the main point of his prediction remains true. Hawking left a psychological and scientific legacy that urges people to find a balance between new ideas and duty. In 2025, his ideas will continue to guide the moral development of technology and our plans for space travel. The Celestial Harmony by Kepler and the Return of Planetary Science in 2025. In the year 2025, Johannes Kepler's work is being revived because his laws of planetary motion are still used to guide science and space research. The latest asteroid mapping project from the European Southern Observatory, launched in March, utilizes Keplerian models to create maps of circular paths with an unprecedented level of accuracy. This demonstrates that his first law remains applicable. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory has added Kepler's harmonic law to its AI-powered orbital forecast software. This makes it easier to plan missions for robots that will go after Jupiter's moons. The University of London's 2025 Bithell Memorial Lecture focused on Kepler's letters, which showed how his ability to deal with stress affected his scientific discoveries, especially when his mother was being tried for witchcraft. Now his work is an integral part of courses that combine astronomy, religion, and philosophy. For example, Cambridge University's new course, Kepler and the Science of the Stars, has students from all over the world signing up. A hologram exhibit has just opened at the Kepler Museum in Walderstadt, recreating his work alongside that of Tycho Brahe. It gives visitors a deep understanding of their data-driven arguments. In the meantime, projects like Kepler-X, which launched in February to find worlds like Earth using improved versions of Kepler's orbital formula, carry on his work. Digital platforms have made Kepler's work popular during cosmic events, and his picture is used in advertisements to promote STEM education. In 2025, Kepler is not only known, but he is also changing the way we think about the stars and space and motivating a new crop of astronomers. The 2025 rediscovery of Leonardo da Vinci's secret skills and impact on the world. As of 2025, Leonardo da Vinci's impact continues to evolve as new technologies reveal previously hidden layers of his genius. This confirms his standing as the most famous Renaissance scholar. Hyperspectral imaging at London's National Gallery showed a completely different underdrawing under the Virgin of the Rocks. This revealed a completely different composition, featuring a kneeling Virgin Mary and an angel in a different location, providing new insights into how Leonardo created the painting. Google Arts and Culture also released Inside a Genius Mind, an AI-powered review featuring more than 3,000 digital drawings and cartoons that allows users to interact with his writings. Leonardo's birthday is April 15th, and the theme of World Art Day 2025 was A Garden of Expression, Cultivating Community Through Art. This theme highlighted how much he changed the world of art and creativity. A recent study examining his landscape picture from 1473 found reflected text drawn with both hands, indicating that he was ambidextrous. The 2024 documentary by Ken Burns sparked new interest in Leonardo's personal beliefs. At the same time, digital platforms praised his vegetarianism and kindness toward animals by using his thoughts on what is morally acceptable to eat. There was more news about the Mona Lisa, when ultra-high-resolution scans revealed a Spovero underdrawing. This suggests that a preparation sketch may still be hidden in files. In 2025, Leonardo is known for more than just his art. He is also reimagined through science, ethics, and digital innovation, demonstrating that his imagination and curiosity remain essential in the modern world. Maxwell's equations and the growth of electromagnetic uses by 2025. In 2025, James Clerk Maxwell's fundamental equations will continue to drive progress in physics, engineering, and digital communication. This proves once again that he is an essential figure in modern science. CERN's quantum simulations have confirmed the Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution and provided new insights into how particles behave at temperatures extremely close to absolute zero. The James Clerk Maxwell Foundation launched a new magazine, The Maxwellian, in March 2025. It will publish research from various fields that demonstrate how Maxwell's ideas are connected to emerging technologies such as neuromorphic computing and quantum photonics. The place where he was born, at 14 India Street in Edinburgh, remains a center for STEM education, attracting thousands of visitors each year for interactive tours and hologram displays. Maxwell's thought experiment, also known as Maxwell's demon, has resurfaced in discussions about entropy and information theory, particularly in thermodynamic models that AI drives. Maxwell worked at the Cavendish Laboratory, which is now home to the Maxwell Quantum Initiative, a global group of researchers investigating how to manipulate electromagnetic fields for quantum security. His idea about colors was once merely interesting, but now it lies at the heart of adaptable display technologies used in augmented reality systems. Educational sites have transformed Maxwell's work into game-like learning tools that enable students to model how electromagnetic waves travel and interact with fields. His equations can be found in satellite tracking systems and 5G networks, which shows that they will always be helpful. Maxwell's work isn't just being remembered in textbooks in 2025. It's actively changing the future of science, technology, and global connection through every charged particle and signal sent. What Dostoevsky left behind psychologically and how it will affect mental health discussion around the world in 2025. In 2025, Fyodor Dostoevsky's studies on the human mind have become a central part of the global conversation about mental health. His books are now taught in schools and used in therapy programs on all 7 continents. Notes from Underground and The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky are used as case studies by the World Health Organization's Mental Health Literacy Initiative to help people understand psychological dread and moral conflict. Once only seen in literary groups, his descriptions of mental pain are now used in clinical psychology studies to show how complicated blame, forgiveness, and identity can be. The Dostoevsky Institute for Neuroethics, which opened this year in St. Petersburg, combines literary analysis with neuroscience to examine how narrative patterns influence our understanding of emotions. Mindverse and other AI-powered platforms have turned Dostoevsky's characters into engaging models. Users can interact with figures like Raskolnikov or Prince Myshkin to gain a deeper understanding of moral dilemmas and emotional resilience. Popular culture is also affected by him. For example, the 2025 Netflix show Underground Echoes reimagines his ideas in a future world, which has sparked new interest among younger people. Public talks in Tokyo and Berlin, titled Dostoevsky and the Inner Self, have drawn thousands of people, demonstrating that people worldwide are eager for books that provoke thought. His writings are now part of UNESCO's Cultural Resilience Archive, demonstrating their importance in fostering tolerance and psychological understanding. Dostoevsky is more than just a literary figure in the year 2025. He is a therapeutic lens through which people continue to examine their inner fears, dreams, and conflicts. Humor, complexity, and cultural reckoning in Mark Twain's 2025 revival. In 2025, Mark Twain's reputation is experiencing a resurgence, fueled by fresh research and cultural reflection that examines his humor, paradoxes, and enduring significance. The latest book by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Ron Chernow, released in May, has sparked renewed interest in Twain by revealing the complexities of his character, with his sarcastic wit stemming from personal tragedy, financial stress, and a lifelong struggle with fame. The biography examines how Twain transitioned from being a steamboat pilot to a renowned author who employed sharp humor and moral insight to challenge social norms. This spring, Hannibal, Missouri, where Twain grew up, had its biggest ever Twain on Main festival. People came from over 40 countries to see shows, talks, and hands-on displays. Twain's works, especially The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, are being reread in public and school settings to talk about race, class, and censorship. Teachers are focusing on how Twain interacted with the Black community and criticized American bias. The Hartford Mark Twain House and Museum has launched an AI-powered video tour that allows visitors to learn more about the author's house and works. On the other hand, his quotes are often shared on social media, where they resonate with people interested in political humor and contemporary cultural criticism. Twain is not just a piece of literary history in 2025. He is a reflection of the flaws in American identity and a voice that continues to make people think, laugh, and confront uncomfortable truths. Picasso's legacy in 2025: new ideas, controversy, and reclaiming culture. In 2025, Pablo Picasso's work is being reevaluated through a lens that incorporates both innovative artistic ideas and cultural responsibility. Picasso Reframed, the Musée Picasso in Paris's most ambitious exhibition to date, opened to the public. It looks at the artist's impact on modern abstraction while also showing the darker sides of his personal life, such as his troubled relationships and inappropriate behavior toward women. This show coincides with his death anniversary, prompting organizations around the world to reflect on his accomplishments and inconsistencies. The use of AI to analyze his Cubist works has uncovered geometric patterns that were previously unseen. This has sparked new scholarly debates about whether the works were planned or composed on the spot. UNESCO added Picasso's early sketchbooks to its World Memory Registry because they significantly contributed to shaping the visual language of the 20th century. The museum where Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain, recently launched a virtual reality experience that takes tourists back to his formative years by combining historical background with participatory storytelling. Hyperspectral imaging was used to digitally recreate his famous picture, Guernica, revealing hidden layers and brushwork that strengthen the anti-war message. When it comes to business, Picasso's home is still a hot topic. His heirs are discussing licensing rights for everything from high-end lighters to AI-made art filters. In schools, his work is now taught alongside critical discussions about the morality of art, the relationship between men and women, and the effects of colonialism. Picasso isn't just admired in 2025, he's also questioned, reimagined, and reclaimed as a symbol of both artistic genius and societal complexity. The Cultural Renaissance of Frida Kahlo in 2025: Art, Identity, and Global Renaissance. A vibrant cultural resurgence has emerged around Frida Kahlo's legacy in 2025. It is marked by global shows, theater celebrations, and interactive experiences that honor her lasting impact on art and identity. July, Frida Month, was held at the La Casa Azul Frida Kahlo Museum in Mexico City to celebrate her 118th birthday. The month included retrospectives, musical acts, and the opening of a new wing that is dedicated to her early years. The display, Frida's Paradox, which features over 250 original items, including oil paintings, handwritten letters, and personal objects, marks the first time her work has been shown outside of China. Frida, Beyond the Myth, is a show at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in Richmond, Virginia. It offers a deeply personal glimpse into her emotional complexity, fashion as a form of protest, and the psychological depth of her self-portraits. Meanwhile, plays like Frida Letters in Italy and Frida Viva la Vida in Seoul have brought her story to life through speeches and songs, highlighting her strength and determination to change things. The German women's national football team made a line of products with Frida themes for the UEFA Women's Euro 2025. Her picture has also made its way into the fashion and sports world. In 2025, Kahlo's art and personality continue to influence groups worldwide that focus on women's rights, national pride, and emotional honesty. This demonstrates that her voice, rooted in pain, passion, and defiance, remains a global force. Rethinking O'Keeffe's Desert Vision: The Rise of Southwestern Modernism in 2025. In 2025, Georgia O'Keeffe's influence is resonating strongly thanks to fresh research, interactive exhibits, and a new perspective on how she shaped American modernism through the lens of Southwestern aesthetics. The Santa Fe Georgia O'Keeffe Museum opened its most significant addition yet, which includes a multimedia installation called Bones and Beyond. This installation utilizes augmented reality to bring her famous desert themes to life and explore the biomorphic abstraction that would later become her signature style. The Tate Modern and the Art Institute of Chicago collaborated on the moving exhibition O'Keeffe and the Sublime, which pairs her paintings with works by modern artists who were influenced by her simple approach to nature and form. A new book from Yale University Press reinterprets her poetry series as thoughts on cultural isolation and physical identity. It shows how her home in Abiquiu became both a refuge and a sign. In popular culture, O'Keeffe's influence is evident in fashion and design. For example, brands are using her color schemes and abstract flower designs in their 2025 lines. AI-assisted art history tools now examine her early chalk drawings, which reveal how intuitively she understood line and feeling. In art and academic circles, O'Keeffe isn't just known as the mother of American modernism, she's also regarded as a genius who has combined personal mythology, abstraction, and nature into a distinctive visual language. Her view of the desert continues to influence our perspective on art, nature, and solitude. Reimagining Wilde's De Profundis as a tribute to LGBTQ+ writers in 2025. Oscar Wilde's impact has grown culturally and emotionally since his jail work, De Profundis, was found and reinterpreted in 2025. It is now an integral part of the conversation about LGBTQ+ literature worldwide. The Museum of Literature Ireland, MOLI, launched a groundbreaking film installation to mark the 125th anniversary of Wilde's death. The installation showcases key passages of De Profundis through the voices of modern LGBTQ+ writers, artists, and activists, offering a multifaceted perspective on Wilde's complex emotions, including sadness, anger, and love for Lord Alfred Douglas. This moving tribute to Wilde transforms our perception of him from a wit and humorist to a philosopher and emotional genius whose ideas about betrayal, pain, and spiritual strength continue to resonate with us today. From Decadence to Despair, an exhibition at Trinity College Dublin shows rare items, letters, and theater programs that show Wilde's rise and fall. It goes well with this repeat. Also, plays like Work is the Curse of the Drinking Classes have returned to Dublin stages, combining Wilde's humor with realistic descriptions of his time in jail. Wilde's lines are popular on the internet during Pride Month and literary events, and his picture is used in ads that support artistic freedom and queer history. In the year 2025, Wilde is remembered for more than just his flashy behavior and brilliant writing. He is seen as a sign of emotional honesty, intellectual defiance, and the power of art to break down barriers of shame and quiet. 100 Years of Virginia Woolf and the Rebirth of Feminist Literary Consciousness in 2025. The 100th anniversary of Virginia Woolf's famous book, Mrs. Dalloway, is celebrated worldwide in 2025, bringing female literary consciousness back into the spotlight. The British Library's Woolf, A Mind Unbound exhibit features duly scanned papers, notebooks with handwritten notes, and rare photographs that reveal how she worked and how deeply she felt. Woolf's books are used as core texts in courses that combine literature, psychology, and gender studies at colleges and universities. To the Lighthouse and The Waves are now used in therapy to talk about trauma and complex memory. The opening of a hologram installation featuring Woolf's last letter to Leonard at the Museum of Literature Ireland sparked discussions about mental health and the sensitivity of artists. Meanwhile, her article, A Room of One's Own, has been rethought in light of digital economies. For example, experts are examining how virtual spaces can be utilized as modern expressions of creative freedom. Woolf and the Future of Feminism panels have been held at literary events in New Delhi and Sao Paulo, drawing thousands of people to discuss her importance in post-colonial and queer stories. Educational apps now use AI models of Woolf's voice from her 1937 BBC show to teach the stream of consciousness writing style. People who want to think about themselves in a world full of digital noise can find shelter and insight in Woolf's writing. In the year 2025, she is not only remembered, but also brought back to life as a significant figure in writing, identity, and emotional truth. Epic Elvis, the King's Cinematic Resurrection in 2025. In 2025, Baz Luhrmann's groundbreaking film project, Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert, revived Elvis Presley's reputation. It utilizes never-before-seen footage and interactive storytelling to present the king of rock and roll in an entirely new light. Findings of 68 boxes of film prints and rare 8mm reels from Elvis Presley's 1970 Las Vegas engagement and 1972 tour have been carefully restored, revealing performances and private moments that have been lost to history. The film, set to be released by the end of the year, is neither a traditional documentary nor a concert film. Instead, Elvis tells the story of his life through old audio and new musical versions. Editor Jonathan Redman and others from Sony Music Vision and Authentic Studios collaborated with Luhrmann to create a movie that showcases Presley's talent, sensitivity, and societal impact. The project also includes recovered video from his gold jacket performance in Hawaii in 1957, which shows fans how charismatic he was at the time. Graceland has had sneak peeks, and Presley's voice, which was rebuilt using AI to enhance the sound, guides viewers through his thoughts on fame, music, and personal battles. The 50th anniversary of Elvis Presley's death is approaching in 2027. Epic views him not only as a singing legend, but also as a timeless speaker whose legacy endures through generations. Elvis returns in 2025, not as a story, but as a clear memory. The two renaissances of Dylan: art, memoirs, and his musical legacy in 2025. In 2025, Bob Dylan's creative output expands across visual art, writing, and music, proving once again that he is a multifaceted star. Dylan announced two major projects on June 24th, a new book called Point Blank, featuring almost 100 black and white drawings he created between 2021 and 2022, and a podcast version of his biography, Chronicles Volume 1, which will be read by Sean Penn, who has won an Oscar. Point Blank is an exhibition currently on display at the Halcyon Gallery in London. It features powerful images of roller skating enthusiasts and canals in Paris that demonstrate Dylan's skill in using mood and symbolism. His retrospective record, Mixing Up the Medicine, opened at number 25 on Billboard's Americana Folk Albums chart, making it the 41st time in his career that it had been on that list. Timothée Chalamet's performance in the movie A Complete Unknown has sparked new interest in Dylan's work, with streaming numbers skyrocketing and Like a Rolling Stone making a comeback on the rock digital song sales chart. The Rough and Rowdy Ways tour by Bob Dylan will go on until 2025. New dates have been added in the Midwest, and Dylan will also be at Willie Nelson's Outlaw Music Festival. His impact can still be felt in music and cultural memory. Fans of all ages are honoring his 84th birthday with tributes and reflecting on his career. Dylan is not just a thing of the past. His voice, vision, and ability to change styles continue to influence art in 2025. Letters from Holiday and Her Legacy, Reclaiming Lady Day's Voice in 2025. In the year 2025, a rare collection of handwritten letters from Billie Holiday to Marilyn Moore, another singer, was made public at the Sheridan Libraries in Baltimore. These letters give a personal look into Holiday's relationship with Moore from 1939 to 1941. These letters are an essential source for people studying 20th century American society because they reveal Holiday's kindness, humor, and practical advice, such as how to navigate racial issues in the music business. During the same time, her 1958 record, Lady in Satin, has been praised by critics again. Columbia Records recently released an updated version that utilizes AI to enhance sound quality while preserving the emotional fragility of her voice and incorporating additional instrumental effects. It is now known that Ray Ellis's haunting arrangements for the record were chosen on purpose to show Holiday's weakness as a way of telling the truth. Strange Fruit, a protest song, remains well known and is often featured in civil rights lessons and digital art exhibits that explore music as a form of resistance. Holiday's impact can also be seen in fashion and art, as her picture has been used in ads honoring Black culture icons. A new painting was revealed in April 2025 in Philadelphia, the city where she was born, to celebrate her contributions to jazz and politics. Billie Holiday is no longer only known for her sad genius. She is now seen as a complex figure whose voice, both physical and literary, continues to speak out against unfairness and encourage emotional honesty in a broken world. Derry's Enduring Echo, the 2025 Reckoning of Mental Health History. In 2025, the tragic life of Rhoda Derry has become a focal point in the global conversation on historical mental health reform, with her story now central to educational curricula, museum exhibits, and digital archives that aim to confront past injustices. The Peoria State Hospital Museum unveiled Rhoda's Room, a permanent exhibit featuring her reconstructed Utica crib, personal artifacts, and interactive timelines that trace her descent from a vibrant young woman to a victim of institutional neglect. Her handwritten asylum intake records and Dr. George Zeller's compassionate notes have been digitized and added to the Illinois Mental Health Archive, now accessible to researchers and students worldwide. The University of Chicago's 2025 symposium, Madness and Mercy, featured Derry's case as a cornerstone of ethical debate, prompting renewed scrutiny of 19th century psychiatric practices and their lasting impact. Meanwhile, the documentary, So No Other Human Would Suffer as You, released on PBS in April, utilizes AI-enhanced voice synthesis to narrate Derry's story in her own words, based on surviving letters and eyewitness accounts. Her grave marker, once labeled simply 217, has become a pilgrimage site for mental health advocates, with annual vigils held to honor her resilience and the reforms her suffering inspired. In 2025, Rhoda Derry is no longer a forgotten patient. She is a symbol of systemic failure, the power of compassion, and the enduring need for dignity in care. Voice of Maya Angelou Awakened, the Immersive Legacy Experience 2025. By 2025, groundbreaking interactive technology and global cultural celebrations have brought Maya Angelou's legacy back to life, reaffirming her status as a literary and civil rights star. In March, Maya Angelou AI Immersive Experience opened at Florida's Anson Complex Sport Park. It utilizes AI and augmented reality to bring Angelou's poetry, activism, and personal journey to life, allowing visitors to hear her voice and learn from her words as if she were speaking directly to them. This exhibition, which was made possible with the help of the Caged Bird Foundation and Florida International University's DREAMS program, have been praised worldwide for its emotional impact and educational value. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, her groundbreaking autobiography, has been added to UNESCO's World Digital Heritage Archive, making sure that people all over the world can read her life-changing story. Panels titled Angelou and the Art of Resistance have been held at literary events in Paris, Nairobi, and Atlanta to discuss her impact on intersectional feminism and diasporic identity. People still read her poems, especially On the Pulse of Morning, at public events and educational settings. AI-enhanced audio keeps the rhythm and power of her original performances. People from different countries don't just remember Maya Angelou's words. They use them again as a guide for justice, kindness, and artistic resistance. Maya Angelou is not a relic of the past in 2025. She is a living force leading new generations to truth and change. Ali's legacy around the world in 2025, from the ring to the causes he fought for. Muhammad Ali's reputation has grown beyond sports in 2025, becoming a worldwide symbol of strength, action, and selflessness in helping others. In honor of its 20th anniversary, the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville opened a new exhibit called The Greatest Beyond the Ring. It showcases his work on civil rights, his spiritual journey, and his efforts to improve relations between countries. People were able to read Ali's handwritten letters to world leaders, including the ones he sent to Saddam Hussein in 1990. These letters provide a deeper understanding of his role as a peace mediator. His failure to fight in the Vietnam War in 1967 is still a key part of the study of conscientious objection, which is taught in more than 100 colleges around the world. AI-enhanced video of Ali's Rumble in the Jungle and Thrilla in Manila fights is being re-examined to gain a deeper understanding of his rope-a-dope strategy. Through programs that help young people and study Parkinson's disease, his daughter, Layla Ali, is carrying on his legacy. the Ali Foundation is funding a new neurorehabilitation center in Phoenix. The 75-pound goat, a tribute to Muhammad Ali book, wrapped in Louis Vuitton leather, has become a collector's item, with signed copies selling at auction for over $10,000. Ali's words are popular on the internet during global sports events and celebrations of civil rights. Muhammad Ali is revered as a cultural icon in 2025, not just as a boxing legend. His courage and charm continue to inspire movements for justice and honor. Lee's Legacy 2025, A Biopic Breakthrough and Digital Eternity. Bruce Lee's legacy has entered a new era of cultural impact in 2025, thanks to new movies, digital preservation, and honors from around the world that demonstrate his enduring significance as a martial arts pioneer and spiritual hero. The much-anticipated Bruce Lee movie starring his son, Mason Lee, is about to start filming under the direction of Oscar-winning director Ang Lee. The story, written by the renowned playwright Dan Futterman, promises to be both emotionally profound and historically accurate. With help from Sony's 3000 Pictures, the movie will follow Lee's life from his birth in San Francisco to his rise to fame in Hong Kong and his impact on Hollywood, with a focus on his Jeet Kune Do theory and his fight against racial stereotypes. Meanwhile, Bruce Lee's daughter, Shannon Lee, runs the Bruce Lee Family Company, which has stepped up its digital rights enforcement to combat AI-generated deepfakes and the unauthorized use of likenesses. It is also working for changes to California's Celebrity Rights Act. His old home in Hong Kong is being turned into a museum, and his handwritten workout plan from 1965 has gone viral among fitness leaders, starting the Bruce Lee Arm Day Challenge and bringing attention back to his training theory. His movies, especially Enter the Dragon, remain the most popular to watch, and his lines are used worldwide at martial arts events and cultural gatherings. Bruce Lee is remembered in 2025, but he is also rethought as a timeless force whose speed, intelligence, and spirit continue to shape movies, fighting sports, and digital identities. Highlights of Keaton's 100th birthday in 2025: stunts, silence, and streaming revival. The film industry is celebrating the 100th anniversary of Buster Keaton's 1925 classic, Seven Chances, in 2025, which has brought his reputation back into the spotlight. This has led to retrospectives, digital reconstructions, and new academic studies of his impact on modern film. Seven Chances, Sherlock Jr., and The General, three of Keaton's most famous silent movies, are now available for watching around the world thanks to the Kino Film Collection. The movies come with interactive features that show off his groundbreaking stunt work and visual storytelling. New details have been discovered in his most daring scenes, such as the famous sequence from Steamboat Bill Jr., where the house wall collapses, now recognized as one of the most perilous stunts ever filmed. Through interactive histories and historical videos, the Buster Keaton Foundation has created a virtual museum where people can learn about his comedic roots, innovative directing techniques, and struggles. In the meantime, film schools worldwide use Keaton's work as examples of physical humor and movie structure. They stress how he didn't use many title cards and instead relied on timing and gestures. His stern personality and the nickname, the Great Stone Face, are being seen in new ways as signs of emotional strength and artistic control. On social media, Keaton's impact is honored with popular videos and memorial challenges. Comedians and trick performers today look to him as an inspiration. In 2025, Buster Keaton is not only recognized, but also rediscovered as a timeless master of film expression. A new look at Napoleon in 2025. Strategy, myth, and the digital archive. Napoleon Bonaparte's impact is being re-evaluated in greater detail in 2025. This is being achieved by combining historical research with new digital technologies to examine the complexities of his rule beyond the war. The Napoleon Digital Codex, a searchable database comprising over 100,000 documents, including military dispatches, personal letters, and legal reforms, was launched by the French National Archives and the Sorbonne. It provides scholars and the public with access to Napoleon's organizational genius, which has never been seen before. Napoleon Beyond the Empire, an exhibition at the Musée de l'Armée in Paris, showcases Napoleon's strategic genius as a general and highlights the devastating impact of his wars. It achieves this by displaying replicas of the Battle of Austerlitz and the disastrous Russian invasion of 1812, which were made possible by AI. On the other hand, legal institutions in Europe and Latin America are commemorating the 200th anniversary of the Napoleonic Code, highlighting its significance in the development of modern civil law. In popular culture, a new wave of historical fiction and docudramas about his absence and last years on St. Helena has sparked discussion over whether he left a totalitarian or liberal legacy. Genetic analysis of hair samples has renewed questions about how he died. High amounts of arsenic in the hair indicate that he was exposed to arsenic in the environment rather than intentionally. In the year 2025, Napoleon is known as more than just a victor. He is perceived as a complex individual whose ambition, intelligence, and flaws continue to shape the way people discuss law, war, and culture across countries. Strategy, scholarship, and the art of rule are what Ieyasu left behind in 2025. Tokugawa Ieyasu's legacy is being reinterpreted in 2025 through a combination of historical research, cultural exhibits, and digital preservation, showcasing his intelligence and strategic acumen. The Path to Supreme Rule, a two-part exhibition at the Tokugawa Art Museum in Nagoya, features rare items such as his falconry gear, formal weapons, and personal belongings, which demonstrate how carefully he managed the government and handled diplomatic issues. New study questions the long-held story that Ieyasu spent his childhood as a slave. Instead, it suggests that he made a strategic alliance with the Imagawa clan, which helped him become a skilled military leader and astute political thinker. His consolidation of power after Sekigahara is now studied as a model for planning the next emperor's succession, with the Owari Kii and Mito Jr. families rising as key players in maintaining royal security. The digitized records from Sunpu Castle show that Ieyasu loved reading Confucian texts and traditional writing. The Hosa Library's AI-curated platform now offers access to over 2,800 books. His impact on fashion and style is also being studied, and clothes that have been found show how he helped make Sujigahana dyeing famous. His falconry records, which include details of more than 1,000 trips, are currently being studied to gain a deeper understanding of how people in the Edo period managed their surroundings and trained their bodies. In the year 2025, Tokugawa Ieyasu is recognized not only as a person who brought Japan together, but also as a great scholar whose work continues to influence leadership, national identity, and historical research. The legacy of Cixi's strategy and the 2025 debate on women's power in Imperial China. In 2025, numerous new academic books, digital records, and cultural exhibits will examine the impact of Empress Dowager Cixi. These are challenging, long-held stories about her rule. Over 3,000 newly translated documents from the Qing royal court were released by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. These documents shed light on Cixi's management changes, foreign relations, and personal letters. These papers reveal her complex role in transforming China through the self-strengthening movement. For example, they show that she backed improvements to the Navy, the telegraph system, and changes to the way women were taught. Augmented reality was used to rebuild the Eastern Chamber of Warmth in the Forbidden City, where she ruled from behind a silk curtain. This allows tourists to experience her way of running the government firsthand. In the meantime, CCTV and Netflix Asia's 2025 documentary series, Dragon Lady Revisited, delves into her political knowledge and debunks stories about how extravagant and conservative she was thought to be. Now historians are debating whether her decision to halt the 100 Days reform was a deliberate attempt to maintain the dynasty's stability or an opposition to progress. Exhibitions in Beijing and Hong Kong honor her support of the arts, such as Peking opera and traditional painting. In the world of academia, Cixi is increasingly viewed less as a villain and more as a pragmatic leader overseeing a kingdom that is falling apart. In the year 2025, Her story is still remembered as an example of strong female leadership and the difficulty of judging the past. Reimagining Roosevelt's Arena, the Presidential Library and Civic Legacy of 2025. The Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library is being constructed in Medora, North Dakota, with construction set to begin in 2025. It will change the memory of Theodore Roosevelt and will open on July 4, 2026, which is also America's 250th birthday. It's not just a statue. This live institution is also meant to inspire people to get involved in their communities. This aligns with Roosevelt's view that patriotism requires action, not just respect. As part of its programs, the library offers Teach with TR, a national education project that utilizes Roosevelt's works and policies to teach about issues such as change, leadership, and conservation. Geothermal wells and mass wood are used in its design to represent Roosevelt's environmental philosophy. On the other hand, the Taste of History video event for Gen Z combines stories with social interaction by using custom drinks and mocktails to talk about important events in Roosevelt's life. Theodore Roosevelt and the Secret Power of Sisters, the subject of TRPL CEO Edward O'Keefe's 2025 TEDx Fargo talk, reveals how Roosevelt's siblings, particularly Bammy and Corinne, influenced his views. A Signal Award was presented to the Ted Roosevelt-hosted podcast Good Citizen for its exploration of social duty and Roosevelt's progressive ideas across all digital media. Roosevelt's impact isn't just in history books, it's also shaping discussions about leadership, fairness, and environmental stewardship as the library's opening date approaches. In the year 2025, Roosevelt Stadium is digital, open to everyone, and more important than ever. The cinematic rebirth of Cleopatra in 2025 and the restoration of her history. In 2025, Cleopatra's legacy is being reevaluated through a wave of movies and academic works that challenge the myths surrounding her for centuries and elevate her standing as a strategic leader and cultural hero. The long-awaited biography starring Gal Gadot is currently being made with Universal Pictures and Atlas Entertainment. It aims to shift the narrative from one of seduction to one of power, focusing on Cleopatra's political acumen and visionary leadership. Filming will start in Morocco, and Gadot has said that she feels a personal link to the part because she sees Cleopatra as a real-life version of fantasy heroes like Wonder Woman. In the meantime, director Denis Villeneuve is working on a different version based on the praised book Cleopatra: A Life by Stacy Schiff. Screenwriter Christy Wilson Cairns is writing a story that promises to be both historically and emotionally complex. As a result of this increased interest, academic institutions have digitized over 3,000 papers from the time of the Ptolemies. These include Cleopatra's foreign letters and military records, which can now be accessed through the Alexandria Archive project. Researchers are using ground-penetrating radar and AI-assisted maps to excavate the Temple of Taposiris Magna, which is believed to be the location of Cleopatra's tomb. On digital platforms, Cleopatra's image is being taken back from Orientalist stereotypes. Educational efforts are stressing her ability to speak more than one language, her work to improve the economy, and her support for the arts and sciences. In 2025, Cleopatra isn't just a beautiful figure, she's also a powerful queen strategist whose influence continues to shape talks around the world about gender, power, and historical accuracy. The 2025 Legacy of Winston Churchill: Leadership, Literature, and Global Reflection. In 2025, Winston Churchill's impact is being reassessed through a global lens that highlights his significant contributions to writing, diplomacy, and leadership. The Churchill International Conference, held in Washington, D.C., commemorates the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II and the onset of the Cold War, taking place from October 9 to 11. The conference features workshops examining the continued relevance of Churchill's ideas in today's global politics. His Nobel Prize-winning books, such as The Second World War and A History of the English-Speaking Peoples, are now taught in universities as part of participatory courses that combine speech studies with historical research. The London Churchill War Rooms now have AI-guided walks that mimic how he made decisions during the war. This provides guests with a more vivid picture of how he approached strategy. Additionally, the British National Archives have launched the Churchill Digital Codex, providing users with access to over 100,000 documents, including personal letters, war reports, and speeches that reveal the complexity of Churchill's political and emotional life. His call for European unity is being reassessed in light of current UE debates. Scholars are re-examining his 1946 speech in Zurich as a model for post-war collaboration. During global disasters, Churchill's words become popular on social media, and his picture is still seen as a sign of strength and persuasiveness. In 2025, Churchill is more than just a figure from the war. He is a lens through which leadership, memory, and historical responsibility are discussed and rethought. Joan of Arc's legacy in 2025: Faith, Feminism, and Reclaiming History. Today in 2025, a wealth of new historical research, feminist reinterpretations, and interactive digital stories are transforming how people perceive Joan of Arc's impact. These new ideas portray her as both a spiritual hero and a precursor to feminists. Newly translated trial records from the Rouen Historical Tribunal archives show the psychological tricks used against Joan, such as fears of torture and changing religious teaching. This has caused more discussion about how religious leaders treated her. Joan Unbound, a multimodal exhibition at the Musée des Beaux-Arts in Orléans, combines medieval artifacts with contemporary female art to explore themes of freedom, sacrifice, and struggle. In the meantime, the Vatican's 2025 conference, Sanctity and Sovereignty, revisits Joan's glorification from a modern religious perspective. Scholars argue that her dreams and leadership in the military demonstrate a distinctive blend of faith and political influence. Using trial records and first-hand reports, AI has now created reconstructions of her voice that can be found in educational apps, allowing users to connect with a virtual Joan. This has piqued people's interest in her story. France has featured her picture again in public paintings and campaigns for youth action, demonstrating her bravery in the face of systemic abuse. Joan isn't just a saint or a fighter in books and movies anymore. She's a complex character whose resistance, faith, and strategic intelligence continue to inspire movements for justice, gender equality, and historical truth in the year 2025. Carson's 2025 Legacy: Learning about the Environment, Digital Archives, and the Effects on the Whole World. Rachel Carson's influence continues to shape environmental awareness in 2025 through increased training programs, digital projection, and the global acceptance of her groundbreaking work. The Silent Spring curriculum from the Rachel Carson Institute at Chatham University is now being used in K-12 and college classes across the United States. It is based on Carson's ecological theory, emphasizing the connection between health and environmental responsibility. The Environmental Protection Agency celebrated its 55th anniversary with a national effort called One Voice, One Planet. This was in honor of Carson's significant contributions to advancing environmental policy. The Rachel Carson Digital Archive, which was made in collaboration with the U.S. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service now holds more than 10,000 papers about her, including personal letters, field notes, and early drafts of her books. This gives students access to her thought process that has never been possible before. Carson's 1962 book, Silent Spring, remains a significant part of debates about how to regulate pesticides. In 2025, the Silent Spring Institute will release a study that connects Carson's warnings to modern concerns about chemicals that disrupt hormones. The Rachel Carson Trail in Pennsylvania has been expanded to honor her work, and new wildlife refuges have been named after her in Brazil and Kenya. Climate campaigners, teachers, and politicians are still moved by her beautiful writing and scientific accuracy. Rachel Carson isn't just a historical figure in 2025. She's a living force whose vision of natural balance continues to guide the world's search for justice and survival.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon